stones on the bones, they toast to scream. Selling our soul while the auction dreams. Money for the bumps, not the crump for the street, but the feet on the blood, yeah, they call it feast. Pocket so deep like the great they dig. Chain on the wall like...
Hello and welcome back to Guddoers podcast. My name is Tony Morris Agbo, and today's episode is a little different. I am on my own. I am not here to report news. I am here to share some personal experience from right here in Galway. Over the years, I have seen things in our community that at first might look like a crime, bad behavior, or just people acting out. But when I step back and think about it, I see something deeper. I see the shadow of mental health struggles in our community. I am not talking about our society just yet, but before I get there, I want to touch a little bit in our community. First, from what happens in shops, on the streets, in schools, and even workplaces, these aren't just isolated incidents. They tell a bigger story about how broken some of our systems are, how people are struggling, and how much we need to take mental health seriously. One moment that really stuck with me was in a shop here in Galway. A customer and her daughter attacked a 16-year-old staff member on her very first work experience. 16-year-old girl, nervous, trying her best to do everything right, and then suddenly a customer punches her and her daughter joins in. What drives someone to do this? What example is that mother setting for her child? And more importantly, what does it say about the pressure, frustration, and untreated issues spilling over in our community? Another time outside the shop, I saw a woman who had been refused entry because she was known for stealing. What happened next will shock you unbelievably. She pulled down her pants and urinated right there on the entrance ramp. Then she turned to me, calling me names and threatening to punch hole in my throat if I don't move out of the way. She was clearly under the influence of alcohol. Again, I had to ask myself, was this just a crime or was it addiction mixed with untreated mental health issue? Because behavior like that doesn't just appear out of nowhere. There is usually a story behind it, pain, brokenness, or a life spiraling out of control. I have seen it from men too. Often it shows up as aggression, stealing, or threats. I have had men tell me to move out of the way or they will break my black face. Those words stings, but they also reveal something deeper. Sometimes it is pure hatred, but other times I can't help but wonder if it is also frustration, anger at life, bottled up tissue that came out as violence or racism. It is not only on the street or in shop. Even in workplace, I have seen colleagues or managers make life hell for others, turning the job into a toxic environment. I have seen a manager complain constantly, refuse to admit when they are wrong, and pile impossible tasks on their workers just to watch them fail. Even if you rise above and prove them wrong, they will still insult you, call you names, and trying to crush your spirit. I have been told I was just a number, that if I left, I would never get another job. I have even heard hateful, racist remarks meant to push me out. But in all of this, I have also seen the other side. I once had a manager who was the complete opposite, fair, respectful, and supportive. He would never give you a task he could not do himself. If he saw you trying to lift something over 10 kg by yourself, he would be angry. Not at you, but because he cared. He would stop you and say, go and get help from another worker. That kind of leadership shows me that not all workplaces are toxic, that good management can make all the difference. And there are small, beautiful moments too. Just the other day, a woman came into the shop to do her shopping. On her way out, she handed me an energy drink she had just bought. She smiled and said, take this just to show you that we appreciate your work here. I wish there were more people like you, she said. That simple act of kindness overjoyed me, and it reminded me that there are still good people out there and that we should all try to be like. I have also seen how fragile life is. One day a colleague walked into the office for what seems like a normal day for everyone, only to collapse from cardiac arrest. Before the medical team could arrive, he was gone. That moment reminded me that life is too short to let negativity control us. Another day, I saw a man shouting at a black taxi driver, telling him to go back to their country. The taxi driver jumped out, ready to chase him down, but I stepped in quickly and told them to calm down. It could be mental health issues, I said. Thankfully, they listened. Thank God. And they let him go. That moment showed me how quickly things can escalate into violence. And that moment also showed me, how important it is to pause and recognize that sometimes what looks like hate or aggression is actually someone crying out for help in the wrong way. And then there is the younger generation. A few years ago, my neighbor's child dropped out of school. She was only about 11. Why? Because she was bullied, at school. At just 11 years old, her education, her childhood, her direction in life changed completely because of something that should never have happened. And it doesn't stop there. Just the other day, I saw about 12 teenage boys walk into a shopping center. At first, they had nothing in their hands. 2 or 3 minutes later, they were running out chased by security guards. This time, their hands were full of energy drinks, can of Coke, chocolate bars on the surface. That is just shoplifting. But when a group of 12 teenagers does that together, it tells me something deeper. It tells me something deeper is broken. Is it just greed, or is it boredom, frustration, maybe even a cry for attention from boys who don't feel they have direction or belonging? That's what I mean when I say if we don't deal with mental health, we will keep seeing it play out in ways that hurt us or haunt us. It shows up in shops, in workplace, on the streets, in schools, and in our homes. It is connected to addiction, poverty, broken families, stress, bullying, and a lack of resources. And if we don't face it head on, the cause isn't just borne by the individual. It spills out into the community. I am sharing these stories not to shock you, not to gossip, but to raise awareness, because the truth is these things are happening all around us. And if we don't acknowledge the role of mental health, we will keep mislabeling them as just crime, just bad behavior, or just hate. Behind every outburst, behind every act of violence, behind every toxic word, there might be a story of pain, struggle, or untreated illness. If we as a community don't take mental health seriously, we will keep seeing it play out in ways that hurt us or haunt us. So my question to you is this: what kind of community do we want to be? One that just punishes and points fingers, or one that looks deeper, asks harder questions, and works together to support each other before things get out of hand or before things get that bad? Thank you very much for listening. I do love to hear your thoughts. Have you seen something in your own community that made you to stop and think about mental health? Let's start that conversation. Peace.
Blows on the ledger, walls on the gate, money for the war, but the poor must wait. Pounds in the flag, they drink down faith, we burn down crown. Detonate, 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 detonate. Life get those like a deck gets steal. Every law just fell, what is due? Ink on rags on the detail sign, while the wall bleed on the side. They lock up the truth with the golden key, and the watch from the top while the city's burn. Every drop, every plate, every child fell. Every child killed, every child died. Every lie on the TV, every shit that they do, every job that they give. COVID shit better be lying to you. Motherfuckers they been talking to you. You be acting like you deaf, like you blind, like you don't see what I'm saying to you. Fuck up to you. Even if you fall in, fuck up to you. You don't listen, but we think we're the baddest. Talking to you. Fuck up. Take the TV, media, fuck up. Big boys is coming, we're raining.
Rentre dans le club ce soir bébé, je vais pas douter. Fini mon couplet, beaucoup vont l'écouter. Je vais te découper, la vraie vie on va goûter. On peut pas s'arrêter là, la pression de jouer à GTA. Et t'étais où quand j'étais là? Je suis venu de tout en bas pour braquer les dollars. Ou la ceinture de l'or, je finirai par dollar. On se fait de tout à l'heure, allô comme prévu, je te rappelle, je suis sur l'avenue. Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Qu'est-ce que tu fais? On avait dit 14h30 devant la banque. T'es toujours pas là donc je me demande à quoi sert de t'attendre. Héros sont genre à la planque. Et tout d'un coup il n'y a plus de bruit, coupure de courant et il peigne le bâtiment est encerclé. Apparemment je suis recherché, je suis sur le toit, je récupère l'hélico, direction Jéricho, un jerrycan pour que ça explose. Et tout brûlé pour calmer mes névroses et désolé pour Notre-Dame j'ai abusé.
Blows on the ledger, walls on the gate. Money for the war, but the poor must wait. Tongues in the flag, they drink the flag. We burn the crown. Detonate, 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 detonate.